just the beginning that
You did.
um
You have.
I
Okay.
pardon? Oh, okay. um so I lost my peace and I was in a lot of rage. And so part of me had a guilt because I had this rage and I wasn't quite willing at that time because I knew intellectually I need to forgive. And I'm like, I'm too angry to forgive right now. But I went into my sacred space and I worked with Jesus and my for me it's opening to receive. And I went into, as they say, in A Course in Miracles, I was temporarily insane, and I asked for help because I knew I was. I mean, I felt like I was homicidal, and but I went into my sacred space, and it took me up until last night this morning, and I did go over to my twin lives around the corner, and I kind of I let her know that I did, I'm pissed and I don't like what happened. And you were colluding with the other sister and this, blah, 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 blah. Anyway, so it took me, and so going into my sacred space, I still haven't talked to my oldest sister because I said very nice things and I knew I wasn't in my right mind to communicate with her, but I did go into my sacred space and I've asked Holy Spirit to help me. It took me, but slowly my mind has shifted to where I'm ready now. So it was very helpful, very helpful. And I did work with I have a friend that's becoming a counselor, and she did a session with me as part of her clinical internship over the phone. She's a science of mind Ernest Holmes practitioner, but we were still in the same mind space. So that was very good.
Nice.
For old ancient stuff, just receiving love.
So my computer has frozen up again.
And to receive the love that I feel, that I'm starting to feel.
Can you all hear me? Can you hear me? Can you hear me?
Yes. Yes.
Okay, I'm going to keep going because you've all frozen, but I have no idea what's going on at my end. So I'm going to trust that you will just keep jumping in because I can't see can't see you. Yeah.
Can you hear us?
I can hear us. I can hear you, but you're all frozen. So
well, we can see you and hear you.
Okay, so what we're going to have to do to go forward is just, you guys just keep jumping in and I'll jump in when I hear something to say, okay?
Okay.
Yeah, so what you're pointing out is that it took a while for this to clear, this this triggered reaction. Did you get into the trigger to see what was at the bottom of it, Lisa?
Well, what I was feeling was repeated self-punishment of unworthiness. Does that make sense? That I
like you're beating yourself?
Yeah, it was from like child.
Yeah.
It felt like early.
Okay. Can you speak up? I lost you. It felt like early. I'm getting frustrated. I can't hear you or see you.
Oh, can you hear me, guys? Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
Hold your speaker up for me.
I've got it.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, I've got it.
Okay.
Here.
So it felt like an early punishment, or?
Yeah, it felt early childhood, but I know that it goes far beyond that. but it felt that it was wanting to be mistreated, which to me is unworthiness, just this unworthiness
Okay.
and punishment, I believe.
Okay. So the value was to be mistreated, to be abused.
Yeah.
And you saw that,
I've-
you valued that more than the peace of God.
Yeah.
Okay. So let's just go one step deeper. I don't know if it's deeper, but if you go, like the inquiry that we did, if you go, can you see the point, the belief in how it separates you from God's love then?
Yeah. And I got that last night watching the USA group.
Okay.
Nook repeated, I got that listening to the video. Unworthiness is a rejection of God. And I've heard it a lot, but it didn't really sink in. So.
Yeah.
Well, no, I mean, I got it intellectually, but
Okay.
there's a part of me that's like, I don't want to be separate from God, but I still have some issues there of unworthiness of God's love that I'm still working through. And
So
it's still
what's
lingering.
the belief, Lisa, what's the belief that you're unworthy of God's love? How could you be unworthy of God's love? What's the thought?
That I'm bad, that that there's still a part of me that I'm still working with that still believes that I'm not worthy.
Mm-hmm.
That how could he love me? And that is what I've been working with for a long time, especially with starting with CCC over a year ago. I'm still having a difficult time breaking through totally to that. And I'm aware of it. That's what really
Well, the thing that's coming up here is if we look at the Enneagram, this for us that are nines, that have a 9 wing or nines.
Mm-hmm.
That is the bottom line defense. That belief that we're a piece of shit. And therefore we're not worthy of love. So that's that defense mechanism that I went over when we did the Enneagram. When we get to the 9, there is this, I'm not worth anything sense. I'm not important. I'm not, there's different ways for that Enneagram type to feel that. It's typically the root of it was neglect in infancy. And so I'll just hold that for you because it's the defense of that point on the Enneagram. And of course, the other side of that is, guess what? I am love. I am love. And there's no other type on the Enneagram. The 9 is the one that radiates the love of the divine. And so they're like two sides of the same coin. So it's just the other side of the coin is if you take this from I'm not, you are love. You can't be anything else. So that's just a false belief that you're not worthy because that's who you are. You're love. You always have been. And that's the face of the divine that you bring to all of us, is that beautiful gift of divine love, which is unconditional. And if you'll notice, you are pretty unconditional. You don't hold grudges forever. Just like the way you shifted through with your sister. You didn't hold that for more than, I don't know, wasn't that long. So just remember, it's just the other side of the coin is the truth.
My intention is to take this into my sacred space.
Oh.
To have any running, I do the root cause, and which I'm going to do. I did it sort of in a roundabout way over the last couple of days. But I need to. I'm thinking that taking this into my sacred space and with Jesus and Holy Spirit and guides and angels, that I really need this shifted and I need help with that. There's peace, which is obviously the ego, mine that's really being tenacious and hanging on, that I feel like a jackhammer, a spiritual jackhammer to help me on earth, to really help.
Okay. Thank you. It is, it's really important to see with each other that just like Regina worked on her hatred with her mother, that we have to keep at it. Yeah, we have to keep having that willingness for it to be changed, and the Holy Spirit is on it. You only have to ask once, but sometimes it takes in this dimension time for it to reach its resolution.
Can you say more about that? Because you get to the point of the root cause and the acceptance, there's a fear that little icky guy ego will come back again and hit you again.
Yeah, I can't say more. I can only speak from my own experience, is that may not be the bottom of the root. It may be that we've gotten one piece of it, but there may be another piece of forgiveness and undoing that's involved. And I found that, of course, in my own experience with my son, I asked the Holy Spirit to take the relationship and close the gap a year ago. And then I did another, about 6 months ago, where I called my son and did another intervention, I guess, where I was very clear with him how much I wanted. I wanted this that there was some misunderstanding, and I would do anything. Like Regina said, I would go to anything to do anything in order for that gap to be closed between us. And so it took 6 months for him to come out and visit me. And the first day, all he did was look at his iPhone and receive text messages. And the second day, I didn't say anything was wrong with him. I just told him from the bottom of my heart how much I wanted to connect with him.
It's going to jump up and hit me again.
But does it hit you in the same amount, or does it hit you maybe a little less?
Boy, it almost seems harder because I'm angry that it showed up again.
So I'm back. I don't know if you can hear me, but I missed what you were saying, Carol. What is it that hit you hard?
What say, Judith?
What is it that hit you harder, Carol?
The incident of like the ego popping up again when you think you've gone through it, and it can be any of the examples actually. You think you've worked through it, you to the root cause, gotten to acceptance, and you go, hey, I got this, and now I'm you know, I got this. We worked through this, and we're in the love part. But then that nasty little ego, I think he's red actually, pops up and hits again, like when you're really not expecting it.
Mm-hmm. How does it hit you again?
Yeah, and if it was now less than the other times, and I thought, and then when I thought about that, my answer was actually probably harder because now I'm like, Lisa said, well, rage. I think that it hit again, that like angry that this hit again. Why can't this be resolved like it was resolved?
Okay, Carol, who is angry that it's coming again? Let's go there. Who is the one that is angry?
I said, it's not you, it's ego.
Thank you. That's the ego that's angry. It's not you. Thanks, Regina. I'm about ready to smash my computer here, but I won't.
Is that your ego or is that you?
That's the ego. I just prayed to the Holy Spirit. I don't know what's going on today, but yeah, the ego, you're identified with the ego. You're slipping into the identity of the egoic self instead of holding to the truth of who you are. So the ego is really getting off on this.
And it comes back like kind of like Lisa had explained it. It comes back like, see, you didn't do it right. You weren't enough. You weren't something.
So a good thing to do at that point is say, who didn't do it right? See if you can stop that way and say, who is it that didn't do it right? Because that sheds the light on where this is coming from. And do you remember when I said discernment of spirits? This is we could call it the evil spirit. This spirit is getting you to believe that you are it and that you didn't finish that work. I don't know how many tricks the ego has, but you have the tools to discern where is this coming from, this kind of upset.
Yeah, the others answered right away. They said the ego.
Yeah, but it's hard to tell when you're right in the middle of it. So if you just say, who is it? Who is this? It's like Jesus identifying the person that was possessed. As soon as you name it, the possession falls away.
Yeah, that really rocks some old beliefs because you think you should take responsibility. You know, you should own up.
Mm-hmm.
And so that means you should be punished or something.
Go right back in. It tricks you to go right back in to that wheel of suffering. You didn't do enough. You didn't finish it the first time. Whatever the ego can use to hook you back in, it will. So I just can't say enough. Question, what is this voice doing to me? Is this voice that I'm hearing, is it a voice that's coming from the holy self, or is this a voice that's coming from the ego? Yeah. Otherwise, we start analyzing and playing with the poison. And, you know, that's what a long time of therapy in the old days used to be all about. Just regurgitating the poison of the story instead of cutting through and getting that person free from that darkness, from that belief system. Really good.
That's huge.
Yep. So discernment of spirits, I'm just hearing that that is a real key for you all as a takeaway today. Discern what voice is messing with me. Is this the voice of the Holy Spirit? Or is this the voice of the ego fucking with me? Mind fucking me? And I don't think there's a better word for it but mind fucking. Because that's what it does. It gets you to analyze and to doubt and to feel like you'll never get through it. Sometimes the best thing to do at a point like that is to call someone and join. Because then, you know, Jesus is there. And if you just say, will you join with me? I'm going through something. Just join. And 5 minutes is all it takes. Somebody here in this group, do you have time to join with me? I'm in a mind fuck. And we all know what that is. And just be still. You don't have to be a therapist. You just have to call on the Holy Spirit and on Jesus in that moment and let go. There's nothing else to do. And that floods it with the light of truth. So that you don't have to have a therapist's license. You just have to be in this group and ask, will you join with me? And then you both just sit there and join. And you ask for the healing from that darkness. Don't try and do this alone, in other words. When you get when you get into a place that feels stuck, you know, the ego doesn't have a chance when the two of you come together. Wherever two or more are gathered in my name, there I am. And the person that you ask to join does not have to be, all they have to do is just sit there and go into the sacred space with you for a minute or two. They don't have to say anything. So if somebody calls somebody, don't feel that you have to know anything to join. You already have everything you need to join. Your divine self is called forward in those connections. It's like the Christ in you comes forward to meet the Christ in the other. And you just sit together and you both benefit. I can see you all again. Thank you, Holy Spirit. And you're moving. Except for Janice. No, Janice doesn't look very happy. She's kind of frozen down there. Janice, can you hear us? Janice? I can't unmute her either. Okay. Okay. Boy, you guys carried along great. That was super. Anything more about that, Carol?
No, not at this time. Thank you.
Okay, Janet says things were going great, but now I just got an email from her. So, who else would like to jump in and share? Let's see, we've heard from everybody, haven't we? So the time of between asking the Holy Spirit to transform a relationship and to the time that it is actually you can feel it and see it with your eyes and touch it and kiss the person and everything, that may take a while. I don't know. I don't know what happened with my son. I still to this day don't know what broke that relationship apart with me, but something happened in his mind, and I suspect something to do with his wife and her mind and his mind got locked together in this and separated me. And in that place, there wasn't a separation on my part. The separation was somewhere out of my control. So I'll bring that up because sometimes you can feel the separation in your own heart. You can feel that you've judged this person and so forth, or in this particular case, I didn't quite understand what had happened, but I do know that our relationship needed to be upgraded from a special relationship to a holy relationship. And I could see a couple years before that we had more of a relationship, a feel-good relationship. He would call and tell me he loved me, and it always felt good. And he's a very feeling, warm guy. So those phone calls were really very dear to me. And I could feel at a certain point that there was something about this relationship between us that was a special relationship. And it was before I even knew about special relationships, and I would call it a codependent relationship. I could feel that it had all the makings of a codependent relationship, that we boosted each other's egos in the phone conversations. And so I did some inner work around that. And somehow I think that brought this other break to the surface. And I can't know, but so then there was a whole year of no talking. And I was invited to the high school graduation of my niece, but my son wasn't talking to me. And I stood in my holy relationship with myself at that point, and I said, I cannot come. I do not feel welcome. I do not feel that I'm really wanted in this, and I can't just show up to please everybody's picture. This caused a serious, the most serious thing I could have ever done was not come to my granddaughter's high school graduation, in spite of the fact that she almost flunked out of high school. She was so busy acting out. Okay, so, I'm bringing this up because it took so much guts to say no. This isn't loving myself. In the past, I would have dragged myself there, and I would have thought I should do this, even though this is not a place that I feel I want to go, or that I feel there's anything positive that would come from this. So I did not go, and everybody was royally angry and used me. How could you do that to your grandmother and to your granddaughter. So it was a little bit tense to stand with myself in a holy relationship at that point. And I'm bringing that all in just to share. It's not just always over in a weekend. And having the courage to stay true to what you know is to stay true to the relationship, like Connie, you've said, to stay true to your own relationship with yourself, no matter what happens in the world. That can be a very big testing ground. And you, of course, lose all control about what other people think of you, because it's like you're throwing all your manipulation and all your control away and saying, Holy Spirit, I'm committed to my holy self, and I'm giving this whole situation over to you. I have no idea what to do with it. Okay? I have no idea. In the past, I've controlled people's feelings. I've tried to manipulate love from people and do the things, feed their egos to make them like me, you know? And have any of you ever done that? Try to control other people's feelings and make them happy, no matter what the cost was inside, to pretend, oh, everything's okay, even though you haven't talked to me for so long and you won't answer the phone and blah, blah, blah. It's all okay. It's not okay to be treated like that. It's not okay ever to pretend that something else is happening. And this is different than forgiveness. It's being true to your heart and what's right for you. And of course, I did all the forgiveness. I forgave my niece. I forgave myself. I forgave my daughter-in-law. I forgave my son. And nothing moved for a long time. And I shared with you, I did the sacred space with that relationship, and all of a sudden I saw Christ looking back at me through my son's eyes. And then when he arrived this week, he couldn't put his phone down. Now this guy is 48 years old. And I thought I had a teenager. He was texting, his wife was texting him to see if he was okay. He was texting her back. He was doing his work. We were walking around Santa Fe, and it was like all he was looking at was this. And I went, oh my God, what's going on? So in the middle of the night, I had some information from the Holy Spirit to talk to him, but not make him wrong. And so I asked him if he was nervous about this new job that he was going into on Monday. And he said, yes, he's very anxious about it. And he said he doesn't know why he always gets very anxious about these changes. And that gave me the opening. That gave the Holy Spirit the opening. And there's a YouTube by Jim Carrey. Have any of you seen this YouTube where he's talking about all the characters he played in his life? And you see him playing the funny guy, you see him playing the villain, you see Jim Carrey in all these different roles. And for those of you that don't know Jim Carrey, he's quite a famous American actor. He played in The Truman Show. He played the Yes Man. I mean, he's a funny guy. So I played that video for my son, and I said, first I said, do you like Jim Carrey? And he said, yeah. And I said, let's watch this video together. And the whole video is talking about how we keep trying to create a character over and over again that will please the system, that will please the ego, the world's ego. And it was like the Holy Spirit was coming through me, putting things in front of me without me getting on a soapbox. And then I said, honestly, I just want to connect with you. And I noticed that you were on your phone a lot yesterday. And I wondered if maybe you were really anxious about your job. And I said, honey, the thing I want most to happen during this time together is for the two of us to connect deeply. I spoke. I was guided to speak what I wanted and to lay it all out in front of him, to be honest and to be clear. And it was a process that happened where the next day all he wanted to do was fix my internet, and we had to go to Walmart, and then in the afternoon we started driving, and he looked at me and he said, hey, will you drive out here to this monastery with me? It was 17 miles on a dirt road through some of the most beautiful New Mexico scenery I have ever seen. Colors of mountains and cliffs winding along the Chama River. And all the two of us could do was say, oh my God, this is beautiful. Oh my God, this is amazing. And somehow that journey, the Holy Spirit was in charge. And we got all the way to this beautiful monastery, a Benedictine monastery. And the silence in the, it was surrounded by the highest cliffs and mountains. So the silence was incredible. And we stood there together. And there was nothing else to do. The healing was continually taking place. It was extraordinary. I posted a picture on the Miracles Boot Camp page. I hope you've all joined that. I'll post another picture on our private Facebook page. But there's whatever happened, I could never know. I don't know. I can't know. I just know that we were completely connected and in love and content as we drove to the airport the next day. And everything had been shifted. The miracle was in that case, the miracle was profound, and I just needed to follow a little guidance from the Holy Spirit once he was in my presence, and to trust those nudges. And he was just completely open and available for it all to fall away. So that was a year. It may have been 2 years, but the relationship now is no longer a codependent relationship, because I speak the truth. I'm speaking the truth to him. I'm not trying to protect him from feeling something. I'm not trying to protect his fragile ego, but I'm being guided by the Holy Spirit how to be in a holy relationship with him. And that for me is a huge learning, to take a relationship with my son, my oldest son, and to see the depth and the process that it took, that it's taking. I mean, I will never say that I'm ever finished with anything. And it wasn't that we didn't love each other before, but it's a different kind of thing when the Holy Spirit has when the Holy Spirit, can you see? Yeah, when the Holy Spirit has worked it out. The ego did not recreate the relationship. It was recreated in the light of the Holy Spirit, and I think that's what Regina was saying with her mother too, and that's what's happening with Gabriella and all of us. So that's just a process that I wasn't going to share, but it came through. Is when you've got something that is a close relationship that you want the Holy Spirit, you've invited the Holy Spirit to upgrade it, to a holy relationship from a special. Give it time and just trust that the Holy Spirit is working. And you don't need to speed it up. It needs that time to transform in this world of time and space. Let's do a little meditation now while the internet is calm. And what we're going to do is I heard this just as I was waking up this morning, to create a sacred space. And before we go into it, to ask everybody to choose one relationship in your life that is you're wanting to be upgraded. Before you even go in, to just pick one relationship that you want to give to the Holy Spirit. You may have already given it to the Holy Spirit for an upgrade from a special relationship to a holy relationship. And let me know when you all have one. Who doesn't have a relationship to upgrade here? You all set? Okay. So we're doing a specific healing now with the sacred space. And so I invite you to close your eyes and let's begin with the joining. Let us all join together and invite the Holy Spirit to surround all of the relationships that we're bringing here. To upgrade and to shift from a special relationship to a holy relationship. And now, allow the sacred space to open, your own, very own sacred space. Allow it to appear however it does, in whatever way that feels safe and private. And very non-judgmental. It's a place where you can be yourself and you can bring to this space the most ugly thought and feeling. You are not going to be judged. No matter how deep this judgment, projection, feeling is, it's safe to bring it here. It's like you just don't know what to do with it. And as you bring this feeling or this break in relationship to the space, you know that the Holy Spirit is already waiting. And the Holy Spirit reminds you of your total innocence in this, that you are completely innocent. So you can leave all feelings of self-hatred and judgment and step completely into this light with this broken relationship. And now you invite the person that you want into the space, the relationship where the transformation is taking place. You just ask this person to step into this place with you. You don't have to like the person or feel anything particular. You just have to be willing to have this transformed. So, I am willing, Holy Spirit. I am willing to the person that you've invited in. I'm willing to see you differently. I'm willing to see whatever I have received. I'm willing to see that differently too. I'm willing to be wrong. I'm willing to be wrong about what I thought about you. I'm willing to be wrong about the way I have perceived you. Whatever you need to say now to this person, whatever it is you need from them, whatever comes up, speak honestly to them and speak really from deep within yourself of what has upset you or what has caused you difficulty. You're just being honest to yourself now. You're not blaming them. I felt cheated when you didn't do that. Or let me give you time to say everything you need to say here. Don't hold anything back. Just don't blame the other person. Keep keeping it to yourself. All of what you feel, speak it out. And when you're finished with this expression of rage or hatred or disappointment or lack of trust, betrayal, when you've completed that, look at this person and ask them to speak to you what happened for them, what's going on for them. Just listen. Listen to what they're feeling and how they saw it. And you're just receiving. You don't have to do anything. And now see that they too are innocent. See if you can see that they too are innocent. That they didn't even see you. They were in some kind of a trance of suffering. And you didn't see them. You were triggered also. And now just be together quietly and allow the Holy Spirit, allow Christ, the Christ energy. And if Jesus has appeared, just allow this all to take place as it will. You're not in control. You don't have to make anything happen. You just have to stay present. And whatever your heart wants to do next, or whatever your intuition wants to do, it's all okay. Just like Gabriella said, she felt like pulling the car over and jumping out, going over to hug that woman. You know, whatever happens next is just fine. But allow yourself the freedom. Anything goes here. There's no right outcome. It may be that you need to spend more time together, that things don't feel finished yet. And that's okay. It's begun. And knowing that you have completely given this situation to the Holy Spirit, and you have been willing for it to all be transformed, you can now say goodbye to this person and allow yourself to leave this space, knowing that you can come back here anytime. And if you feel like you need another time, acknowledging that. And now return here to the group. Okay. So, who would like to share what happened, or who would like not to share what happened? Did anybody get a surprise, or it's all okay? Is that you, Janice? I can't unmute you. It looks like you wanted to. Can you unmute yourself, Janice? Okay. Would you like to share?
My internet was going in and out again, so I kind of missed a lot of the meditation. So I plan on going back in and doing it again. But what did come up was I didn't want to release my anger that I felt towards this person quite yet, and I'm going to have to work on that.
Okay. Good work. Good job. You have the willingness? Do you have the willingness?
I do.
That's
I
all
do
that's
have the
needed.
willingness.
The rest is up to the Holy Spirit. The ego does not have to work on it. Give it to the Holy Spirit. Okay?
Yeah.
Tricky.
Yeah.
There's no more work to do. If you've given this with willingness to the Holy Spirit, good. Thank you. Nice. Who else wants to jump in? Lisa. Did you want to jump in? Did I see that or?
Say that, here, that, no, I went in to work with, the person that I live with. Because I think the biggest thing is our paths are different. And, he gets a little threatened by the amount of time that I spend. And that's, I think, the biggest thing. That's why I won't set a wedding date. Can you hear me? That's why I won't set a wedding date. Because, because I'm concerned. Because my path is the most important thing in my life right now. So I've just offered that up to Holy Spirit, to every intercessor. Yeah. So it's a big deal.
Yeah.
But this is where I live, and it's the appearance of safety and security. So changing that, offering the special to a holy relationship. I have no idea how it's going to turn out, but I'm having faith and trust. Yeah.
Okay, that's a big one. Did anybody else have something they want to share?
I got kind of as I think about it, almost like a curiosity now to see what might show up, what can open up. So, and kind of a hope that there might be a playfulness or a cheeriness in it. So it seemed like something opened up, and curiosity now to kind of watch and see what shows up is what I got. Kind of a lighthearted. Seems like there's heaviness, but that heaviness might have been shifted to a lighthearted.
Nice. It's coming to me strongly to share a story that was shared by a Course in Miracles teacher, Kate Greaves, who when she worked for a boss who was a bully. Do you know what a bully is, Connie and Gabriella? A bully? Huh? Can you hear me? Okay. So the Holy Spirit told her she didn't have any willingness even. She hated this boss so much because the boss bullied all the other workers. And so the Holy Spirit told her to bring that person, that boss, into her sacred space every day a few times a day, and to wash her feet. Holy Spirit said, wash her feet. And Kate said in the beginning she just wanted to vomit when she did it. But it got easier and easier. And she had to do this for a period of time, where she just washed her boss's feet. Just kept bringing her into her sacred space and washing her feet. And gradually, it got easier and easier. And then what she saw was that she and the boss were the same one. That she was washing her own feet. That's where that meditation took her. That the one she hated so much, and she despised all of her actions with the other employees, at the end of that sacred space practice, she got to see that there was no separation. That it was her. It was her self-hatred and her loathing being expressed outwardly. It was one of those experiences that she said changed her life, that work, because it took so much from her, so much willingness to keep going back when everything in her didn't want to do this at all. So I just was encouraged to share that with you. This is a very, very amazing tool, workshop in the mind and the heart. It's an incredible place. If you can establish it as something that's really meaningful for you, it's a powerful, powerful tool. And you can do this with anybody that isn't even, you can connect with anybody, living or dead, or any situation. There's nothing outside of you. You're always communicating with a different part of your self. So as you do the sacred space, you're healing yourself. You're bringing yourself to wholeness. You're digging. This is one of those things where you can really dig in and go to those places that are the hardest. Don't leave those for last. Because that's where you get to return to wholeness. You get to return to the truth of your heart and who you are. Because that's where the separation is. It's really not outside, but it appears to be like it's outside with that boss that was the bully, but it's not outside. In the end, the big aha is, oh my God, my mother was me. I have in Regina's, I'll just know that Regina, you're okay. It's like you brought that hatred, that self-hatred that you threw onto your mother. It's all dissolved, and that is the union with yourself again. There were not two people there on Friday. It was one heart joined. So this is the workshop. The Sacred Space workshop can take you home. You can do this with anybody that you see that you have a judgment about or feel badly about. And I want to refer you to this story of Ho'oponopono. How many people are familiar with the story of Ho'oponopono healing? If you look that up on Google, you can read the story of that psychiatrist and how he took on all the criminals in that institution that nobody else could work with. They were so dangerous. And he did the sacred space meditation in his way with each one of those people, never even went in to their cell to talk to them. He took their charts. He took their charts and he read every offense, everything, every bad thing about them. And he did the sacred space meditation in his way, the Ho'oponopono. And he said to each one, I'm sorry. Please forgive me. Thank you. I love you. He completely joined each one of those criminals, brought them into his heart, and loved them. And he took full responsibility for their crime. He said, your crime is my crime. And he found it. He found the crime inside himself. And that's what released them. So I want to include that as a part of this. I'll type this in the chat right now. Ho, o, po, no, po, no. So you can Google it and just go back there, and he has that's another. It's just like this. It's a little bit different, but these are the most powerful things. We can do that with our politicians. We can do that with anybody that we think is. Yeah, thank you, Lisa. Dr. Hugh Len is the doctor that did that. Thank you, Lisa. I couldn't remember his name. So huge, big healing today. Is everybody leaving here fulfilled? Did you all get something out of today that you want to take with you? Was there something rich here that fed your hearts? Now let's bring this gratitude together to the Holy Spirit and to Christ for giving us the Course in Miracles, this very fast path. I just want to cry. It's so beautiful. Holy Spirit, thank you so much for removing so many obstacles from our hearts today. Thank you for helping me with the internet. Thank you for all the love that's happening here in this joining with each one of us. And we bow before you, Jesus. And we kiss your feet today and receive your blessing. Thank you. Thank you. Just like what Mickey said, thank you all for being here. This only happens because we've joined together. So, yeah. Thank you. See you guys, and I'm going to work more on I'm going to call Zoom to see what's going on next. So, love you. Bye. I'll unmute anybody that's not unmuted so you can say goodbye.
Bye.
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 Bye. Have
Bye.
a good, wonderful week. Bye.
Okay.
You too.
Love you.
Bye.
Bye.